What if I told you that the most charismatic person in the room is usually the one doing the least amount of talking? Think about the last time you were in a conversation and felt completely exhausted trying to think of the next smart thing to say. You are scanning your brain, panicking about the impending awkward silence, desperately trying to prove you are interesting. But here is the massive secret that naturally magnetic people know that you do not. Trying to be interesting is exactly what is making your conversations feel so incredibly forced. Today I am going to show you how to completely flip the script. I'm going to teach you the framework of the lazy conversationalist, a psychological method that allows you to step back, barely speak, and yet have people walk away thinking you are the most fascinating person they have met all year. And I am not just talking about nodding and smiling. I am talking about utilizing specific psychological triggers that make the other person do 90% of the work, while you get 100% of the credit. But before we get to the exact techniques, you need to understand the fundamental mistake you are making right now. You see, most of us operate under the delusion that a conversation is a performance. We think it is a tennis match where you have to hit the ball back exactly as hard as it was hit to you. When someone tells a story about their vacation, your brain instantly screams that you need to find an equally good vacation story to share. This is called conversational narcissism, and we all do it accidentally. We listen just long enough to figure out how to transition the spotlight back to ourselves. But here is where it gets really interesting. Human beings are biologically wired to love talking about themselves. Brain scans actually show that talking about our own experiences triggers the exact same pleasure centers in the brain as eating great food or receiving money. So when you are constantly jumping in to share your own stories, you are literally interrupting their brain's reward system. The lazy conversationalist does the exact opposite. They turn into a psychological mirror. Let me introduce you to the first technique you are going to use today, which I call the echo prompt. The echo prompt is so simple it feels like cheating, but it is used by FBI negotiators to build instant rapport with absolute strangers. Here is how it works. When someone finishes a sentence, instead of launching into your own thoughts, you simply repeat the last 1 to 3 words they said, but phrase it as a question. If they say they have been feeling totally overwhelmed at work lately, you just look at them and say, "Overwhelmed at work?" That is it. That is the whole technique. What happens next will blow your mind. They will immediately expand on what they just said, giving you a deeper, more emotional explanation without you having to think of a single clever follow-up question. You just hit the play button on their brain's favorite subject. But you cannot just echo forever, which brings us to the second phase of being a lazy conversationalist. The deliberate pause. Remember that awkward silence you are always terrified of? It is time to make it your best friend. Most people rush to fill a silence the microsecond it appears, because they feel socially responsible for the vibe of the interaction. I want you to stop doing that entirely. Next time someone finishes answering a question, I want you to maintain eye contact and just silently count to 3 in your head. Do not nod eagerly, do not say yeah or exactly, just wait. This is going to feel agonizing the first time you do it, but watch what happens. In almost every single case, the other person will rush to fill that silence themselves. And because they are speaking unprompted, they will usually share something far more vulnerable, authentic, or interesting than whatever they originally planned to say. You are creating a vacuum, and human nature dictates that they will rush to fill it. You are effectively making them dig deeper into their own thoughts while you just sit back and comfortably listen. This shifts the entire power dynamic of the interaction, positioning you as a grounded, highly confident presence who doesn't need to scramble for words. But wait until you hear how we lock this connection in permanently. This brings us to the ultimate lazy technique, the validation anchor. If you do this right, people will literally seek you out at parties just to be around your energy. While they are talking and filling all those deliberate pauses you created, your only job is to hunt for the emotion beneath their words. Not the facts, the emotion. When they tell you about how their flight was delayed, their luggage was lost, and it rained the whole trip, do not offer a solution. Do not tell a story about your lost luggage. Deliver a validation anchor by calling out the exact emotion they are projecting. You just look at them and say, "That sounds incredibly frustrating. You must have felt so helpless." That is it. You are not fixing anything, you are just proving that you truly see them. People will forget the brilliant jokes you made, and they will absolutely forget the advice you gave them. But they will never forget how you made them feel when they were talking. By doing less, by stripping away the performance and the anxiety of what to say next, you become the rarest type of person in the modern world. Someone who actually listens. So now you understand exactly why leaning back and letting them do the work makes you instantly more charismatic. You have the echo prompt, the deliberate pause, and the validation anchor ready to go for your next social interaction. But here is the thing. Mastering conversations is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle when it comes to human psychology and building an unfair advantage in life. And if you found this subtle shift in perspective valuable, you are going to want to see the psychological breakdowns I am revealing next week. Look, if this video just helped you realize that you never have to stress about running out of things to say again, then you absolutely need to subscribe right now.
Why?
Because every single week I am dropping deep dive content on human psychology. That helps you become the most magnetic, confident person in any room. I have already helped thousands of people completely transform how they interact with the world, and you are next in line. Hit that subscribe button, smash the notification bell, and let us build your ultimate social toolkit together. Trust me, what is coming next is going to change everything for you.